What is up guys, Sharpwind here. Today I'll be teaching you how to use the Modelbench. Now a lot of you might say, wow, that took you a while to figure it out, and I kinda agree, but I was never really focused on the Modelbench. About 2 days ago I took my time to actually see what it's all about, and it's pretty easy to use, so I want to teach you how to use it yourself and how to make awesome models. Now before we start, you can help me by clicking that subscribe button or joining my Discord server. Seriously, if you haven't, it's a lot of fun. Although I'm not pretty active lately because I have work and stuff, but that should settle down in about 2 weeks, so I'll be available to you once more. Now without any further ado, let's get in the Modelbench. Click New Model because I want to start from scratch. Name the model. That should do it. Model template, you can start from a Steve, from an Alex rig, or from a cube. I want to start completely from scratch so I can show you exactly how it works. Now click next, and you can browse for player skins, or you can upload an image of a skin yourself. I'm gonna browse for some skin, Mine-imator, skins, items, skins, sharpwind, Oblivion. I'm gonna use Oblivion, and create model. So you should end up with an empty area here. So if you actually want something done, you should first consider adding a part. Now this does absolutely nothing. That's mildly confusing actually, but it's really not. It's pretty simple actually. So name this part because I don't know what to name it. If you actually want to see what you're doing, you should open up the Elements tab here. Open this up and you see your part you added called blah. Now this part doesn't really do anything. I mean, it's nothing. There's nothing here. So you should give it a shape. Let's say a cube. So in this blah body part now has a shape, which is called cube. So it used Oblivion's head because I chose that image. You can customize the shape by clicking this thing, Show Hide UV Viewer, and it will open up the skin for you. You could also adjust the size here. Let's say give it a width of 12. And if you take a look at the image down below, you can see what you did. You extended all this. Now the head looks kind of funny. So there is another way how you can customize the shape, however. You can customize it down here in this image below. You can move around in this interface down here. And let's say I want to make an arm. So grab this little point here in the corner and move it so you have it in the upper left corner of the arm. Now you can drag this left dot to adjust the size. So let's put it like this. And you can drag this little dot down below to customize the size and the size again. Basically in all 3 dimensions you can customize all this. So once you're happy with the selection, the shape above here will already adjust the size, which is pretty handy if you ask me. So I'm happy with this, so I want to close this UV panel so I'm see what I'm doing, and I'm gonna name this arm for organization purposes, so you stay well organized and know what's going on. But now if you take a look at this, the pivot is down here. You should adjust the pivot offset. So let's put this to -2, put the Z to -2, put the Y to -10, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with where this is going. You can adjust the position here, and now your pivot is offset again. So I will explain that later, but first I want to show you something very interesting. You can add multiple shapes to a single body part. And let's call this head, just so you can see what's up. So I'm gonna move the head on top of my arm, because why not? Let's just do that, okay? Because why not? Once you've done that, you could also adjust the pivot offset, but of course then again your head is now messed up. See what I mean? So the pivot is always gonna be down here, no matter what you do. So you should place all the body parts so the pivot suits this body part. You should move all the shapes so they suit the body part's pivot. It's always going to be down here, so why not just move the arm down here? Let's put the position to 0 and change the pivot point so it's down here. So if you select the body part, the pivot is now down here, so let's move the head down as well. Let's put all of these to 0 and adjust the pivot so the head is on top of the arm. Now this is done. And if you select the body part now, the pivot is in the center. You can move this now however you want, and the pivot is gonna be where it should be. So you use the body part for the position and you adjust the pivot for each body part separately. So this is how you make it. This is now all one body part. So if I add another body part and now it's locked onto this one, so I just want to drag this and place it up here. That seems fine. However, don't lock the body parts together. I'm making two separate body parts. The first one is blah, the second one is like random, I don't know. Let's just do something. And I'm gonna add a cube to this random. Okay, now I want my cube to be a body, so let's take care of that. Okay, now I have a body, which is called random. No, this is a body inside the random body part. I'm gonna name it body. I'm renaming these so you can see what they do in the actual program later. Now I want to rotate the body like so and have a pivot offset to be on the very top of the body and also in the center. So now the pivot is where I want, and I'm gonna move the random in here. So this is it. This is what I created, this random thing. If I click on the random body part, this is the body, which has a pivot point in here. Remember this. And if I click on the bois, it basically inherits both the head and the arm and has the pivot point inside the arm here. Now, for demonstrational purposes, I'm gonna save the model and I'm gonna create a new folder on my desktop so I can delete it later because I really don't need this. I'm gonna call this here so I know where it is. And I'm gonna save it in here. Call it random thing. Now save. It says the model saved successfully. Now if I close the model bench, you see this folder on my desktop called here, which I just created. And in here, you will find your random thing and the texture it used. So the texture should always be in the same folder than the model. So this way it can't mess up and all the textures are in, and this is how it should be. The texture should be in the same folder. Now if I open up Mine-imator and click tests and thumbnails, this is something I've tried before, just ignore it. You didn't see anything, shh. Okay, click on the crafting table and click on this icon to import a model. Now browse for the model. I'm gonna browse for this random thing which I just made, and the texture is automatically gonna be applied. So if I click create, this is my random thing inside Mine-imator. Now the random thing is the whole character. This bois are the two shapes which are now one body part. So this one body part is consistent of two shapes, but it's only one body part in the timeline. This is pretty damn nice. This is gonna minimize the item count of all the skins and rigs that you made because it's only one body part, and that's sick. And this random is a custom body part in here. Now I know what you're saying, the arm and the body aren't bending. Why? First of all, you notice all the arm and head cubes that were in the program before but now are nowhere to be seen because they're inside the bois body part. The shapes aren't going to be visible, only the body parts which are consistent of those shapes. So whatever you call the shapes in the program isn't gonna matter, it's just there so you can organize your workflow in a more efficient way. We'll get to the bending and stuff just now actually. So if I close this up, open up the model bench again, and I'm gonna create a new model. Call this model human. Start from scratch, that's okay. Browse for the skin, Oblivion, because why not, and create a model. Now, I'm gonna add a body part. Call this body part body. Okay, no, let's not use caps because that sucks. I'm gonna add a cube to this body and call it... Doesn't really matter what you call this shape because it's not gonna be visible. You will only see this body part in Mine-imator. So this name doesn't matter. You can rename this however you want. It's just so you can organize your workflow, as I said before. Now, I want to make this body an actual body. So there, this is my body. And if I want to make this functional, I have to adjust the pivot point. Wherever I place this pivot point is the rotation point of your object, basically. If I rotate this now, this is how it's going to rotate in Mine-imator as well. So this is like a quick preview on how you can do it. But of course I want the rotation point to be down here because this is how bodies rotate in Mine-imator. So if I do this, yes, this is how they rotate in Mine-imator. This is how I want my body to be. Now the position, don't mess with this except if you're in this actual body here. You can scale this body in all three directions, simplify all this and scale them in all three directions at once. You are familiar with this from Mine-imator, I don't have to explain that. This UV is basically this thing, which you can adjust either in the image or by the numbers. If you're a technical person, you should use the numbers. If you're a visual person like me, you should use this UV thing. You can hide the resource panel so you have more space in here. There's an undo and a redo button. There are 3 buttons here. You can add a part, add a cube, add a surface, or you can open up the menu when you create new model, open existing model, import a model, save a model, or save a model as. This is basically all there is to know. So I'm happy with the rotation point. You can adjust the material settings, which is basically, is it visible, is it not visible? You can have an inherit texture or have if you have multiple textures applied, let's say textures, you have this oblivion, which is in here. If you see, you can scale the texture as well, but this only creates a madness of textures, so I wouldn't mess with this if I were you. I will click and add texture, and I'm gonna browse for a random texture. Let's say assassin. So now there's 2 textures in the program, oblivion and assassin. So I'm gonna use both of these to create stuff. Yeah, so in this texture thing, you can click inherit texture or select an existing texture within this program. Let's say assassin, so now it has the assassin's body. I'm gonna mash up 2 different skins in one, just so I can demonstrate. So this is oblivion. You can mirror it for some reason. I don't know why you would do this. This is basically mirror it left and right. You can invert it so you can only see the insides of it, just like in Mine-imator cubes. You can only see the insides of it. I don't know why you would do this, but okay, I guess so. Inherit color is basically how it's gonna behave in the program. It's the parroting options in Mine-imator, but I already explained that once. You can have a blend color, and it will blend to a certain color. This is basically the same principle as in Mine-imator, but unless you're going for some very weird effects, I would just leave this on white and have a regular skin, just like you always wanted to. You can mess with the alpha options, so how it's going to be visible or not. You can mess with the brightness, just like in Mine-imator. So basically, this is the material panel here, or the wind. Where is the wind? Okay, no, not the material, but the wind. So you can have it wave with the wind. You can choose different wind axes, so all or just Y. Now, this looks pretty funny. That would be a nice way to make a slime or something, I don't know. So minimum Y, you can select what's the minimum value of the wind. If I go to 10, of course this is gonna be bobbing. Not much, actually. If I go to negative, okay, I don't see much difference. I don't know what this is. It's basically just random wind settings, I guess. I don't want to make it wave. Please don't. So this is it for the shape. But if you go to the body, you actually have this bend option, which the shape doesn't have. So we're gonna mess with this. The material is the same, basically, and so is the scale, rotation, and the position. So if we open up this band panel, this lock to bend half doesn't serve any purpose yet, but we'll get there, don't worry. So we should tick off bendable for this. You have a bunch of settings. You can decide which part is gonna bend. Let's leave it to lower for now so we can see what's happening here. And let's tick X on. So now it has the X bending options. If you bend it now, this happens. Basically, the body is bending, but it's bending in a very strange way because you have to adjust the offset. So the offset is where the bend is going to be. You can bend it on the very top of the object, very bottom, but I want to place it somewhere in between, so like 5.7. But the lower part is bending because, well, we ticked lower on. You have a bunch of settings here. If we click upper, this is how bodies bend in Mine-imator. They bend in the upper half. I might have to adjust the offset a little bit, like 6, no? I don't know. I kind of like this actually. So this is how it's gonna bend now. You can, however, tick on front. So the front texture is gonna bend if I adjust the offset. Like the front face is literally jumping out of the texture. This is the front, this is the back. Works exactly the same way. The back jumps out. You can have the left face jump, the left face moving up, forward or backwards. Maybe the Z should do, yeah, not the X bending but the Z bending. Anyway, this is it. I wouldn't use that. Let's just go for the upper half, and this is the bend now. Why? Because the offset is all meshed up. So we set 5.8. This is how we want it to do. So you can also adjust the direction. You can invert it. I don't know why you would do that because it's exactly the same thing, except the backwards is forward and forwards is backwards. I don't know why you would do that. But you also have the direction here. You can only bend it forward, so this is one direction. It says forwards, but it's bending backwards, so that's an irony. You could go with backwards, which is forward. For some reason, I don't know. It will only bend in one direction now. It won't go in the other way, so that's something. Or you can tick both and mess around with this. So this is all you need to know about bending. Now if you make something functional, let's say add a new body part, which is going to be locked on the body, and call this body part head, and give this head a cube. Now this is the head of Oblivion, but I want the head to be from the assassin skin. So if we go to the head, this is gonna be a new shape, which the name doesn't matter, except for me when I'm working on this. So the material, let's just say it's gonna have the assassin texture. Now I have two different textures on one single character, which is also pretty damn nice. So I want to adjust the pivot offset of this thing, -4 as well. Now this position is okay. Now I want to move the head up, but the pivot offset for some reason is still down there. No, it's not. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, this is the body, this is the head. If I rotate this, it's okay. I think this should work. I don't know why the pivot offset is down here. I'm still a bit new to this program as well, but I think, I mean, the rotation point is up here. I mean, the pivot offset for this shape is up here, but the body part's up, pivot point is down here. I don't know if that's gonna be a problem or not. Let's just go with the flow and we'll see how it goes. You can also take hide shapes off so you can see what you're doing in a much more organized way. So basically hides the shapes from here, but you can still have them. So I'm gonna add a new part, lock it on the body, call this right arm, give it a shape, adjust the shape so it actually uses the right arm. Be right back, I'm gonna make this entire thing. Okay, so I made something like this. The body is inheriting head, right arm, and the left arm, but I messed up the left and right, so this is the left arm, this is the right arm. I messed this up, so I did the same with the legs. Never mind, this doesn't matter too much. The body and the arms have Oblivion skin, the head and the legs have the assassin skin, and this is basically it now. The rotation point of the entire character is going to be in the world center, so in this little area right here. This is going to be the entire character's rotation point, in here. So one more thing, I didn't make anything bendable yet, so I should do just that. Okay, I should mention this lock to bend half thing. So if I bend the body, of course everything will bend with it because of the default settings. If I tick lock to bend half off for the head, if the body now bends, the head will stay in place. This is what the lock to bend half does. So this is what you want, so be careful about that. This is it. Now the whole thing is functional, only bends in one direction, but I forgot that the body now has all three bending options, so the X, Y, and of course Z. So I should tick all of these on. Now one more thing I want to do is I want to add an extrusion to the arms, just so I can demonstrate how all this works. I'm gonna add a new cube to the right arm. Select the cube to only be the face of the arm. This doesn't seem right. I should do this, but now the bottom is messed up, so let's try to do this and scale it later. So I'm gonna name the shape extrusion so I can organize myself better. Okay, I'm gonna try to scale the extrusion to have a Y of 2, basically have everything for 0.25 bigger than the actual arm. If I mess with the pivot offset now, I should be able to get this where it should be, so like so. This is now the arm extrusion. Yay, it works nicely. Look, it's a bit big, but I'm sure you can adjust it. Wait, let me just try to do something here. Yes, you can type in the custom values as well, so let's try to do that. Like, let's type in the custom value of everything, which isn't too good, so I just want to undo all of this and keep it bigger, just so you can see. Now, I can duplicate the shape and lock it on the left arm as well, so now I have bigger sleeves. You can do this with everything on your character. Now that I'm happy with this and the way it all bends, I'm gonna save the model. Name the folder model thing and save this guy as a retard because he looks retarded. And I'm gonna open up the new Mine-imator 1.1.4 because of the new bending, not because of anything else. Make a new project, don't need to name it at all. As you see, I've changed my interface already because I like this black interface. Don't judge me. And import this retard. So this is the human. As you see, the custom rotation point is in here in the body, so that's why it's spawned inside the ground, because the custom rotation point is here. But that doesn't really matter too much, because you can always just move him up, and the custom rotation point is in here. So now if you want to make flips, you can do that with an ease. So this is the human, it's got both the legs and the body, which function as they should. So if I try to bend the legs, you see the legs only bend in one direction, which is right. They all rotate from the same position point as they are used to. So the body has a rotation point in the center, so it rotates from the center. It has all three bending axes and they bend in the right way. The arms also have a rotation point. They also have this extrusion here, so this sleeve, now it's extruded but it only uses one. It's extruded but it only uses one slot in the timeline because it counts as being one single item, which is really handy if you ask me, for making models and stuff. And the head is, well, basically the head. Doesn't do anything. But if you're anything like me, you're gonna mess with this and you're gonna have a lot of fun because this looks freaking derpy. Ooh, who stole my cookies? Bruh, this wasn't funny at all. So basically that's it. That's how you can use the Modelbench and create derpy characters like this with extrusions without any extra effort. So that was it. Thank you for watching, guys. Again, click that subscribe button, it helps me out a lot. And you can suggest your tutorials you want to see next in the comment section or on Discord, because that's where I'm mostly active. So thank you for watching and stay sharp.